Hello and welcome back to Reading with Mo. It's been almost 2 months since the last time that I uploaded here on BookTube. I have just been very busy, a combination of traveling, busy, and I just had no motivation whatsoever to record videos. I don't know why. I had a whole schedule set up and I did not stick to any of it. But I am back. I am ready to go. And also I haven't really been reading as much. I think the last time I checked in with you guys, I had wrapped up the books I read in January, which January was a good reading month as far as quantity. February, I think I finished maybe somewhere around 2 to 3 books. Or maybe a little bit more than that. But March, definitely barely read anything. So I will be sharing with you guys what my reading plans are for the month of April, as well as what I have planned content wise for this channel. Right now I have a problem, and that is I have way too many books that I have started or checked out from my library, and I'm partly into, but I haven't finished. This little shelf behind me I just emptied right now so I can share with you guys what books are on my currently reading. Some of these I haven't picked up for a while. So yeah, my goal this month is to try to just get through as many of these as I can, because I'm tired of some of these just sitting around for so long. So I'm gonna have to make some really big decisions on if I'm gonna actually finish some of these, or if I'm just gonna give up on them. I am currently reading 2 books that I know for sure I'll be finishing in April. Why don't we go ahead and start with those first? I'll share with you guys first what I'm planning on reading in April, and then we'll talk about what my video plans are for the rest of the month, which there aren't too many, but I thought maybe you'd be interested in knowing what they are before they come out. So the first one is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I just picked this book up a couple weeks ago at the last bookstore in LA, and I have been wanting to read this for a while. I feel like I fell into the hype for sure. Everybody's been talking about this book, and I've been in the mood for something in the fantasy genre, so this is definitely satisfying that. I am almost all the way done. I have about less than 100 pages left to go, and I will have finished this book. So I'm pretty sure I'll be able to finish this today, hopefully, once I get home from work. If I do finish this book, which it's not even if, when I finish this book, I want to continue on with the sequel. I don't currently own the sequel, but I'll probably just pick it up from one of my local bookstores as soon as I finish this. So I guess also you could add to my TBR for this month. The sequel, I'll for sure buy it this month, but maybe I'll hold off on reading it until next month, but I don't know. I feel like I kind of just want to jump into it straight away. So that's something that's going to be a priority for me. And then I always like to have an audiobook going. I go back and forth with when it comes to audiobooks, but right now I am currently listening to Wench by Dolan Perkins Valdez. This book is part of the Harper Perennial Olives editions. This one, I don't remember what year this one came out in. This author wrote Take My Hand, which came out in 2022 that I read. And I ended up giving that book, I think a 4-star rating. And so I already had this book on my shelves for a while, so I decided to pick this one up. And yeah, the audiobook is going well so far. I should finish it within the next day or two. This book was published back in 2010. It's the author's debut novel, and this is following a slave narrative taking place, most of the settings so far, while we are getting some of the backstory on some of the slaves, is on this vacation area for the slave owners. So the rest of the books that I am some way partially into, partially not, I was trying to figure out what order I should talk about them in. So I just kind of separated them into fiction and nonfiction. I felt like that would be the easiest. So we have Chernobyl Prayer by Svetlana Alexievich. This book I keep picking up and putting down, not because I don't like it. I believe this is a book that I'll probably give a 5-star rating to once I'm finished. It's just really hard to read. It's very sad. It's talking about the firsthand experiences of people who experienced going through the Chernobyl explosion, and just how it really affected them and their lives and afterwards. So I don't even remember now what page I'm on in this one, because apparently I was reading it and did not put my bookmark back in, but I want to say I'm maybe 50-ish pages into this one. Then we have The Georgians by Penelope J. Corfield. This book I started back in September when I purchased it when I was in London, and back when I was definitely on my Georgian hype, and that has lessened a little bit since then, which is kind of why I feel like I haven't prioritized reading this book. But I'm pretty far in, about a third of the way in, and I feel like just give me the next season of Bridgerton and I will be re-inspired again to pick this book up, as well as 2 other nonfictions kind of similar to that category, which are Black England. I just started this one last time I was traveling, I want to say when I went to New Orleans like a month ago. And this one I'm about 50 pages into, and it's very good so far. This is by Gretchen Gerzina. It's a forgotten Georgian history looking at like Black people who were living in the Georgian era. And also we have this All Things Austen, a concise encyclopedia of Austen's world by Kirsten Olsen, which this one I am about like 60-ish pages into. This one, I don't even remember when I started. It might have been last July, like Jane Austen July, I probably picked this up for. And at this point, I might as well just put it back on my shelves and then be re-inspired to pick it up again once July comes around again and I want to read some more stuff around Jane Austen. And lastly, for the nonfiction, we have Divine Might by Natalie Haynes, Goddesses in Greek Myth. I am still into Greek mythology and I'm still trying to like wrap my brain around all of it. There's just like so much that encompasses Greek mythology. It can be a little bit overwhelming at times. I started this book on like another trip. That's my problem, is every time I go on a trip, I want to start a new book. So I'll start a book, I'll read like barely anything of it, just enough basically to say I'm reading it, and then I get home and I put it down and I don't pick it back up again. And then it's just a cycle of every time I'm going somewhere. So I need to stop doing that and start taking with me books I've already started. So this one I'm not that far into either. I want to say I'm maybe like 20-ish pages in at this point. I probably should just restart it anyway. But yeah, that's where I'm at with this one. So that's how my nonfiction reading is going. Next up, we have this lovely stack of a lot of pretty chunky fiction books that I have picked up and put down over the last few months since last year. And let's just start with whatever order these are stacked in. So we have a historical fiction, The Sun and Splendor by Richard, this is a novel, Richard III by Sharon K. Penman. This book I'm about a little over 200 pages into. I think my problem with a lot of these books is now that I'm trying to dive back in, how much am I going to remember from what I've already read, and am I going to need to start over? At that point, do I feel like I'm enjoying the books enough that I want to start over with? So that's going to be a big question I'm going to have to ask myself as I'm diving back into these books throughout the month. We have Beauty is a Wound by Ika Kurniawan. This is an Indonesian novel. It's a book in translation. I actually think I checked this one out like through my library, and I was kind of like just reading it as an ebook on my phone here and there. I haven't gotten super invested into it, but I kind of want to, this is one I'm pretty sure I'm going to DNF, but I want to give it one more chance to see if maybe I'm in a different reading mood, it'll be more interesting to me. But if not, this is probably one I'm not going to be finishing. And we have a short story collection. I'm definitely going to be finishing this one. I actually have the audiobook for it currently checked out from my library, and that's The Islands by Dion Irving. With short story collections, I never really feel any rush to have to complete them within any time limit. I believe I've only read the first maybe like 2 stories in this collection, and I have enjoyed them so far, so I'm looking forward to returning back to this short story collection. And basically the kind of like thread that's holding all these stories together is that it's following the lives of Jamaican women who are immigrants or the descendants of immigrants. Then we have The Shadow King by Maza Mangise. This is another one that I feel like is kind of more likely that I'm not going to finish it, that I'm going to DNF it. But I will be sitting down and reading it for a bit and kind of seeing how I feel about it. This book is set in 1935 in Mussolini's invasion of Ethiopia. This book, I don't remember now exactly how far I got into it, maybe around like 50-ish pages, but it just didn't really, the story or like maybe the writing or whatever just hasn't sucked me in and kept me really interested in continuing on. So I'm going to sit down with this one more time and then see if I'm going to DNF it or not. And lastly, a book I have been reading for so long and not even really actively reading. I just like started it and then I got I got like over 100 pages in, is The Count of Monte Cristo. This brick of a book, it has been on my TBR for so long. To be honest, it's probably not going to be finished this month either. It just is, I have so much other things that I'm trying to finish. But yeah, I need to decide what I'm going to do with this. Like if I'm going to actively still keep it on my TBR, if I'm going to try and like break it down into a way I can get to reading it. It's not like it's even that hard of a book to get into. It's just so long. This book is over 1,000 pages. So while I have enjoyed what I've read so far, it's another one where I'm like, am I going to have to start over, or can I just jump back in where I was and kind of like remember? I think I would do pretty well at remembering the characters since I have seen the movie. and being able to figure out like where I'm at, since I'm not super far into the book, like just short of 200 pages. So those are all the books that I'm at some point into reading. I'm not adding any other books off of my shelves that I haven't already started, with the exception of a few. And so for that, we're gonna have to go to my Libby app on my phone and see what books I have currently checked out through my library, because there are some books on there that I do currently have. So there's currently 10 books there. Some of these are duplicates, like I've already mentioned before. Like with Wench, I'm listening to the audiobook of that one from my library. The same with The Islands, the short story collection that I mentioned. While I love reading new releases, this year I'm really trying to focus on reading books off of my shelves, because I have currently more books than I would prefer to have, in case well, most likely if I have to like pack up and move my books wherever within the next year, I am going to be kicking myself with how many books I'm gonna have to pack up. So I'm trying to read as many as I can so that I can actually get rid of some that I don't enjoy reading. So with that in mind, I've been trying to focus my audiobook checkouts on books that I actually have on my shelves and not just new releases, because I don't even remember what month it was. February, I think I mostly just listened to audiobook new releases from my library, and I made like no progress on the physical books that I own. So the 10 books that I have currently checked out from my library, we have Wench, which I already mentioned. And then we have The Magnolia Palace by Fiona Davis. This is a book I received from Book of the Month back in January of 2022. And I believe this is a historical fiction. I read the first chapter and it seemed pretty interesting to me, so I want to listen to the audiobook for this one. Then I also have the audiobook for a short story collection called Africa Risen. This is a speculative fiction collection, and I think these are stories that are all in the young adult genre. We also have the audiobook for The Islands, the other short story collection I mentioned. We have a mystery thriller, which is a newer release, which I'm still going to be reading some new releases. I'm not solely reading stuff that's on my shelves, and that I just don't have the discipline for that. And we have The Mystery Writer by Solari Gentile. This author also wrote The Woman in the Library, which I read, and I think I had pretty enjoyed, but I wasn't like blown away by, so I want to read this book and see if this is an author
Dreamscape presents The Mystery Writer.
And see if this is see if this is an author I still want to continue reading from. Then I have only one ebook checked out currently from my library, and that's Nonfiction by Julie Meyerson. This is a fiction book, and I actually started it, currently 10% into it. It's not too long, it's about 150 pages, so I feel like I'll definitely be able to finish this one. It's another new release from this year, and I'm enjoying it so far. We're just like introduced to the main character, who she's a writer, and she's kind of just contemplating and discussing her relationship with her daughter, who is an addict, and we are learning just kind of like what's been going on. Also, I would love to be able to continue. I have the audiobook for Dr. Thorne by Anthony Trollope, which is the third book in the Barsetshire Chronicles series. So far I've read the first two, and this is the continuation. Will I get to it this month? This is probably kind of low priority. I just kind of want to finish the series by the end of the year, which means I would just need to read one every other month or so, and I'm pretty much on track for that. So if I push this to next month, it's not really like a big deal. I also have the audiobook for You Get What You Pay For by Morgan Parker. I started this and I got about 20% into it. It's an essay collection, which I don't really read a lot of, but I'm open to trying them here and then. With this one though, while it was like okay, it wasn't anything bad, it wasn't really like interesting me a lot. So this is one that I feel like I would be okay with just DNFing, because I only have so much time and I don't really want to push through and then maybe give it like a 3 or a high 3-star rating. I want to read stuff that I'm really loving and I'm really excited to get back into. Then we have The Blueprint by Ray Gianna Rashad. I have the audiobook for this one checked out. This is a pretty short book. It's not too long. It's a book I was sent by the publisher, so I figured I would try to read it sooner rather than later, because I believe it's already out now. And this book is set in the vein of Octavia E. Butler and Margaret Atwood, a harrowing novel set in an alternate United States, a world of injustice and bondage in which a young black woman becomes the concubine of a powerful white government official and must face the dangerous consequences. This sounds very interesting, so I'm going to prioritize the audiobook for this as well as the last one that I'm going to mention that I have currently checked out, and that is A Love Song for Ricky Wilde by Tia Williams. This is one of my most anticipated books of the year. It's been out for a while now and I still haven't gotten to it, which I'm surprised, but part of me has kind of just been holding off for the right time to read it. So yeah, I really hope that I do get a chance to listen to the audiobook for this month. But if not, it's going to happen for sure by like next month. So those are all my reading plans for April. Wish me luck because I know they're very ambitious. There's probably about like 20 books I just mentioned if I were to count them all up. I know I'm not going to get to all of them, but I'm definitely going to try and get through at least at a minimum like half of those. As far as my goals for content on this channel for the rest of the month, I'm just going to try and keep it very reasonable with one video a week. So next week I'm hoping to put up my most anticipated releases of the spring. This video is definitely very delayed. I was hoping to have it up last month, but I'm going to be sharing with you guys the books. Some of them have already come out in April, but for April, May, and June that I'm interested in, there's like 40 books at least on this list so far. So if you're looking around for new books to read, definitely be on the lookout for that video because there's a lot of books that are coming out this year that I'm interested in that I think you guys would be interested in as well. And I still need to record in my February and March wrap up because I do have books that I did finish in those months that I would like to review and share with you guys and just wrap up my reading. But at least as far as my reading is going, my Goodreads says I am on track. So even without reading, I think because I read so much in January and a decent amount of February, that without reading hardly anything in March, I'm still on track to reach my Goodreads goal of 100 books, which was cool. I thought I was going to be like super behind when I went and checked that out. And then probably the last video, as usual, I'll post for the month will be the books that I'm planning on reading in May. Hopefully a lot of the ones that you've seen in this list will not be mentioned in that video because I will get to them this month. So like I said, wish me luck. I'm going to do my best. I'm definitely in a very reading mood. I think because I didn't read a lot in March, it was able to give me a break before I like really got into a slump. So that's good. I'm definitely in a reading mood. I want to read everything. So I feel like April is going to be a really good month. Let me know what you guys are reading this month. And that's it for this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.